Karyn, thanks so much for chatting with us, and glad you can spare a few minutes away from the AFN Assembly here in Winnipeg to be with us. First off, congratulations on being named our new host of APTN's Nation to Nation. Can you tell us what the audience can expect to see on the upcoming season?
Well, I think we're probably going to start back looking at sort of the wild summer that it's been. There's been so much going on, even though it's summer, like there's been so much going on politically. With the AFN having its AGA, as you mentioned, first time they've been together since the First Nations Summit, the One Economy Bill going ahead. There's been forest fires, which have raised a lot of concerns about climate change. There's so much going on. So we will be sticking with the politics, but looking at all of that.
And Karyn, you touched on it a little bit there, but what topics are you most concerned about and want to tackle first on the show?
I've been doing a lot of work on Jordan's Principle, and I've been putting in a lot of access to information requests to try to get statistics and numbers out of the government. I want to understand more about what's happened to communities since they've been cut off. I'm getting emails all the time from people who are concerned that programs have been cut and services have been cut, and please keep them coming. I will keep telling those stories. So Jordan's Principle is a big one. The other one that came up at the Assembly that I think has just maybe dropped off too much of the news cycle is the opioid crisis. There's an opioid crisis going on in my community. We're under a state of emergency, and I know many communities out there are. So that's something I want to take a look at as well.
And do you have any guests in mind that you want to get on the show first?
I definitely want to be talking to Cindy Blackstock again. There's going to be so much happening with child welfare. That's another big one, with the government having just been compelled by the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal to get back to the table and resolve discrimination against First Nations children in child welfare. So we're going to have her on. We're going to have Jeff Copenas on. His community has been almost completely cut off of Jordan's Principle programming, and they're under a state of emergency. So those are two guests that I've got in mind, and of course we'll be rotating. We'll be rotating a little bit with whatever happens. I mean, it's news. Things come up, and we just want to be there for it.
Finally, Karyn, as we said, you've been busy covering the AFN Assembly here in Winnipeg this week. What do you think were some of the big topics discussed by the chiefs?
Definitely, as I mentioned, the opioid crisis, child welfare, as I mentioned, came back up. Really interesting resolution on child welfare, with chiefs deciding to compel the AFN to spend $1 million out of its budget to support the new Chiefs Commission that's going to be negotiating for chiefs outside of Ontario. I've never seen that before, and I'm curious as if it's even possible for the AFN to come through on that money, just because of the way that AFN rules are governed. That's going to be an interesting story to follow. There was a lot that came up at the Assembly. I think I filed 4 or 5 stories in 2 days, so you can read them online. They're all there.
It's been a very, very busy week for all of us. Well, congratulations again, Karyn, on the new job, and we all look forward to watching the new season of Nation to Nation starting October 9th.
Yeah, thank you.